guys, Teacher Lauren, BEJ here. I am going to give you the complete rundown of what is Vipkid. Is it legit? What is the pay and how does it work? I'm getting messages galore about this, so I thought it's high time we make a video about that. Now, Vipkid was started by founder Cindy Mi out of Beijing, China. It connects students from China with teachers in North America who are eligible to work in Canada or the US so that the students learn English. It is a really cool program that is done over Skype, kind of like Skype actually. I'm not actually sure what that's called, but it is similar to Skype, where the lesson slides are loaded like a PowerPoint, and then you have video chatting going between you and the student. Now, the next question I get is, well, I no longer teach, my license expired, I am a teacher, but I don't have that very much experience, or I am not a teacher at all. It doesn't matter, you guys. All they are looking for is that you have a bachelor's degree in any field, bachelor's degree, and that you have at least 1 year of experience with children. That could be children of your own, that you coached, mentor, that you have coached, mentored, you worked in Sunday school, you volunteered, anything where you spent a year or more with children, helping those children in some shape or form. They also want to see that you have a background. Like this is an example. You do not have to do this. This is just a metal board I got at Lowe's, and I covered it in cloth. Well, technically my hubby covered it in cloth for me. And the cool thing is about the metal, it's magnetic. So I went that route. You don't have to go that route. You can use a dry erase board behind you. You could just hang up cloth or use your plain wall, whatever you want. But you do need to have a sign for your name. At first, I just had Teacher Lauren. The BEJ are letters that were attached as my show name for Vipkid because there's evidently another Teacher Lauren. That's all that means. Doesn't represent anything else. And I have a world map, which you should have as well. And it just needs to be fun, educational, and make sure you don't have shadows behind you. They want to know that you have good lighting and nothing that will distract those kids. Because let's be real, guys. There's plenty of distractions already. We don't need to add to that. Besides a cute background, besides your name and the map, and your bachelor's degree and your experience with children, they are also looking for you to have a computer or an iPad, preferably more current iPad, to be able to teach, and that your internet is consistent. They want to look for internet that is fast, and I live in the mountains of North Carolina, so that is few and far between for us, but we did find fast enough internet. And I can cover that if you use my referral code and my referral link to apply. I will happily send you a ton of resources and a ton of tips, and I will be your coach step by step through the process and help you get to that point where you get your first booking. I mean, I don't even do just the application or just getting hired. I am there through the whole way. But if you're like me and you're very independent and you're like, I got this, leave me alone. Totally get that. I am too. I can be your phone a friend, so if you get to a certain point and you have a question, I am here. But please use that referral code or that referral link. All that tells me is your email address, your name, and what stage you're at so that I can be of help or assistance if need be. I greatly appreciate it, guys. Now, let's say you're ready to apply. You have your computer in place, your lighting is good, no shadows, you've displayed all this. Now what? Well, what you do is you go in and apply. You fill out a form that is like, this is my experience. It's basically your resume. It's your experience, your degrees, your licensures, anything and everything they need to know about you before they hire you. And then you pick a time to interview. And this is an interview with somebody from China who will come online, and they will use that program. They will come online and you will video chat with them, and they will say, hi, how are you? Who are you? Why did you apply to Vipkid? What is your experience like? Those kind of things. And then they will suddenly decide, hey, I'm going to become a 5-year-old who does not know English. I want you to teach me these lessons, or this lesson and these slides, and I want to see you use TPR, I want to see you use props, a reward system, synthetic phonics, and correct me when I make a mistake, and I want to see how you go about that positively. So you have 10 minutes and you have 10 slides. That means 1 minute per slide. They give you the slides ahead of time. But if you want to practice before you go in, as long as they're still using this lesson, the My Feelings lesson, I will link below a video that helped me tremendously with passing my interview. I watched 4 or 5 different teachers, and this is the one my daughter loved to watch, and this is the one I enjoyed watching. And this is also the teacher who helped a lot. Everything she posts has been phenomenally helpful. And she's a brand ambassador for Vipkid, so she is legit. So make sure you watch that. I will try to remember to link that below for you guys. But it is your My Feelings demo, and they want to see you using TPR, which is total physical response. I see an apple. And then you wait for them to respond. Or you might say, do you like apples? You know, things like that. That's not a great example. But you use movement to create a response out of the child. This is similar to like when we went to Ireland and ran across a gentleman walking down the road and we needed directions. We pulled over and asked him for directions. I thought, oh, this will be simple. We chose Ireland. Everybody speaks English, right? So learned my lesson. Went up to ask him where the dark hedges were. He just stared at me. And I get that from my students sometimes. It's very similar. Turns out all he spoke was Gaelic. He did not know English. So we were using all kinds of TPR trees. You know, he did understand trees. So he did this and we followed it, and believe it or not, we got there. We also offered him a ride because we were in the middle of nowhere. We have no idea where he was going or where he came from because there was nothing around us. But it worked. We got where we were going. He tipped his hat. He was ready to go on about his business. So it worked. And that is why I highly believe in using TPR, and it keeps it interesting and exciting in the classroom. Also practice synthetic phonics. I was a brick and mortar teacher for a few years, and I still had some things to learn about phonics. Shamefully, I should admit that. But I did. So I went back and studied, and when I interviewed, I was corrected about something about my phonics, and I thought, well, no kidding, I probably need to learn more. So the video links that I will post below, please watch those. If you use my referral code and referral link, I give you lots of helpful resources. So please, again, check that out. Then they want to watch that you are going to correct positively. That means when the student makes a mistake, wait for them to finish and then say again and circle the part that you need to repeat or that they need to practice. And then maybe later, if time allows, go back and extend with that. You know, use that in sentences and show with your props different versions of using that. So make sure you correct as you go. I always have the student repeat at least 2 times and correct 2 times, and then I stop at that point because they get frustrated. If I'm not getting it across well, then we move on, and then if we have time, we come back again. I don't want them to get stuck and frustrated on that one spot. So when I interviewed, that's how I did. I've heard teachers say you should correct 3 or 4 times. I've heard teachers say only 2 times, only 1 time. At least 2 times, do that, okay? That's all I can tell you. And then when you finish teaching, which sounds crazy, but again, that video tells you everything you need, everything to do. But when you finish teaching, the interviewer will say, so what do you think went well? And then they'll ask you, what do you think you need to work on? Then they will give you what you think you did well, what they think you did well on, and what they think you need to work on. And then they will give you time, either 24 or 48 hours, to email you your feedback. Mine gave me my feedback in the chat box right beside where we were teaching and talking. And then she emailed me too. In the email, you will get feedback in a rubric form that shows how well you did or didn't do, and it'll tell you if you failed or you passed. It'll also give you, if you are hired, this will be your base pay rate. And your pay rate is between $7 and $9. Does not sound like a lot, but it actually is. Lessons are only 25 to 28 minutes long. So if you teach that lesson, yeah, your pay rate might be, say, $8. That's not my pay rate, but just for this, it's $8. So you teach 2 lessons in 1 hour, you've made $16 in 1 hour from your home. Didn't have to go anywhere. Just had to put a decent shirt on. You can even have PJ bottoms on, you guys. Just don't tell anybody. It's really cool. I get to be home with my little girl this way. I still work my other job. I love where I work. And my hubby is there, so we get to all spend time together as a family, kind of, sort of. It's a little crazy right now with tax season, but we are all together, so neither of us miss her milestones or having time with her. So it works out great for us. But if you chose to, you could choose to stay home and not have to go anywhere, which would be so nice. And even though your pay rate right now, say, is $8 and you make $16 an hour, there are incentives out there that you can earn more. So let's say you start class and finish on time, they give you another $1 per class, which you're supposed to do for all of your jobs, you guys. So how's that any different? So what they do is they'll say you start class, finish class on time for both those classes in the hour, you've bumped your pay up to $18 an hour just by doing your job. And then there's an incentive that if you teach 45 or more classes in a month, which sounds like a bunch, and for those of us that have another job, it's like, oh, we can't do that. That's like, oh my gosh, that's just crazy. It's 2 classes a day, basically, or less. So do 2 a day. I do more than that before I go to work, you guys. So I get up early in the morning and I do as many as I can, and then I go to work, and then I spend the afternoon and evenings with my hubby and my daughter, and then I go to bed early. That said, doing 2 classes every morning before work, you could easily meet that as long as you get the bookings. And now you have bumped your pay rate from $16 to the $18 to now $20. $20 just for doing your job and teaching at least 2 classes a day. There's no minimum requirement or anything set by VIP Kid that says you have to teach. It's just a matter of what you want to do. It's flexible. You get to decide when and how often and how little you work. You get to decide what your time slots are. In the beginning, I would do 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and then I would go get ready for work. And that way I had space between to do feedback to the students. I had time to get set up and ready for the next class and clean up from the last class, all that good stuff. Now I do back-to-back classes because I finally have a really good system in place to let me do that. When you get established, there are videos on my channel that can help you with how to do back-to-back classes. But for right now, focus on applying and passing that first interview. So after you've interviewed and you've shown off your props and your reward, as Nancy Taylor has told you to do, and after you've seen the examples I've shown you, and you pass and you do great, they will link at the bottom another link that says, okay, go on to your mock interview. That mock interview is where you do the same thing again. You will teach a lesson to somebody that is a teacher in the US or Canada, or they may be traveling the world, but they're from there. And they are currently teaching with VIP Kid, and they're called a mentor teacher. And those teachers will interview you. They will do the same thing. They will ask, how are you doing? Where are you from? And why did you apply? And what is your experience? And then they will do the same thing. They will act like a 5-year-old who does not know English. And they will interview you by you teaching them for 10 minutes. This time, I had 2 lessons to prepare for, and I did not know which lesson I would teach until I got there. So I prepared for both. I had one on one side and one on the other. And then I went into the interview, and they said, let's do lesson B. And I pulled everything for lesson B and got going. And you do the same thing all over again. They just want to double check that you're going to represent them well and do this. And then when you finish, again, they go over what went well, what you could improve on, and you say that, and then they tell you what they thought, and then they say, watch for the email. I'll send you your feedback and tell you whether or not you pass. Don't freak out. They make it sound like you have to do this in 3 days. Do not stress. You have a chance to do it over and over and over again. If you do not pass the first time, keep going. I don't know if there's a limit, but I do know that they let you repeatedly take this mock interview. If it doesn't go well the first time, don't stress. You get to do it again and again and again until you get it right, so don't worry. Then when you finish and you get that email, if you do pass, which I'm sure you will, when you pass, you will get links that say, yay, you passed, whoop, whoop. Go on and upload these documents. And the documents are a W-9 that you fill out for taxes. There is a background check that they want to do on you. You just have to electronically sign for, and then you fill all your information in, and then you upload an image of your degree, images of any licensures you have, image of your driver's license, a passport, or some form of ID, and you have to have 3 images of you. And a lot of people go out and get professional images. Don't use the professional images, you guys. Use images of you in your classroom with your family, and images that are bright, very happy, and easy to tell what's going on in them. Don't have it super zoomed out so they're like, what is this? And use your children in the images and pets. Those sell well on the website to get bookings. I will say my pets seem to do better than the baby did. I don't know why. No offense, Emma. But once I uploaded images of me with my dog, and I kept one with my daughter, so maybe that did help, but for the most part, you need to have you in the classroom showing what they can expect when they book with you. And you need to have with your family to show you are human outside of VIP Kid. This is who I am. And then you will have to also create an intro video, and that is just 15 seconds long. And I'm going to create a separate video because that is a whole other ball game. But you will need to create an intro video saying, I am teacher Lauren B.J. Welcome to the classroom, or something to that effect. I'm going to upload mine as examples for everybody because I really wish there had been more for me to see. I saw a few, but I'm going to upload mine just in case they're helpful. Even my embarrassing first one I created, I will share with you guys. So be on the lookout for those on the channel. Subscribe with the little red button just in case I post anything new. You don't want to miss out. So subscribe. And then also, you will need to have a paragraph about your experience. Why they should choose you out of all the teachers at VIP Kid, why they should choose you to teach their children. A lot of people use this to brag about their credentials. Some people like to discuss their family and interests. There's a lot of tips that say just keep it short, sweet, and simple. And remember, these parents may be fluent in English or they may not know jack about English. So make sure you make them comfortable when they read your profile or they watch your videos. The more you talk and the more you type, the more they have to figure out and translate, and it doesn't always translate well. So go use Google Translate to translate what you say and to Chinese, and then translate it back to English so you can see how the translation panned out, because you'll be surprised how it looks when you're done. It's not like Spanish where it does kind of translate a little funky and out of order. It is all over the place. So make sure you go do that, fix your words, and then keep doing it until it gets just right, how you like it. And like I said, keep it short, sweet, and simple. The less talking, the better, which obviously I'm not very good at. I'm already at probably, I'm gonna guess probably 20 minutes. It seems to be my go-to time. But once you have all of that loaded, then you get to sign your contract and you get to open up shop for bookings. You can wait. You do not have to immediately dive in to start opening up bookings. You get to decide your schedule. You can go on and certify in other levels. You can take workshops. You can take your TESOL certification, which I've heard that they now require you do that when you apply, and it is difficult, so I'll be glad to help any way I can. But it's really good to have. So go ahead and do all those things, and then open up bookings. Get your room established, get your props organized, and then you can start opening bookings. Or if you want to dive right in, you go for it. But I do recommend that you do any interactive levels they offer you. You get to choose when you do your mock interview what level you teach. Choose anything that is interactive if they offer it. Anything interactive. The students prefer those, so you tend to have a better chance of getting bookings. I mean, it makes sense to me. And it's more fun to teach, in my opinion, because you get to move things around on the slide. So definitely go that route. And then once you've signed your contract, open your bookings. We're going to help you get those bookings. There are tons of materials and information and Facebook groups out there that can help you with, hey, this is what worked for me. So make sure you check those out. And once you get your first booking, I'm going to be so excited for you. I'm going to do a happy dance with you. I dance in my classroom all the time, and my kids are like, they think I'm silly. And then I try to get them to dance, and they just look at me like, I'm not doing that. But by the second or third time I teach them, they're over there going. So have fun, you guys. I hope this works out for you. And if it doesn't, I will pray the Lord's will be done with your path. Especially if you mention below that you want me to pray for you, I will. I have no problem doing that. And I will gladly support you in any way I can, especially if you use my referral code and referral link below. And I will do my best to get all of my links listed for you guys as soon as possible. And I hope you have a super blessed day and that you enjoy yourself when you get to teach, just like I do.